Okay, so we've created our table of contents, we've added it to the book, and we've generated it. And so now we have it open on the screen. And of course, the big thing now is formatting it. And a couple things to notice here. One is it'll use the page layouts from the first component in your book. So it looks at this introduction and it says, well, okay, so this has margins and footers and headers and whatever it has. So it goes ahead and picks that up. But that's about all it does. So when you look at these are all going to basically be, Times New Roman, 12 point. The page numbers are going to be hard against the titles. So, rarely you'd want to leave things like this. So let's talk about formatting. Now, what's useful here is to separate the idea of formatting from content, because really they're two different things when it comes to these generated files. And if you can kind of divide that up in your thinking, it'll make working with them a lot easier. So formatting is, the look and feel. So what typeface do we want to use? Do we want to use tab stops? Do we want to use leader dots? Do we want to have space before, space after? But what's more important most of the time is content. I mean, most of you know how to do formatting, but what about the content? What about what's included in the table of contents? And this is where we have to go to the reference page. So we're going to go to View, Reference Pages, and we go to this TOC reference page, and there's a bunch of things here, and we'll explain these as we go on. But first of all, let's just focus on this paragraph here. Now, if you look down here in the lower left, you'll see that it says Heading 1 TOC. So this is where the content is determined for those paragraphs. What's going to actually come over? What's actually going to be included in the table of contents? At this point, we don't care how it looks. We can do the formatting later. But what we want to determine is the content. So let's zoom up here a little bit. And we'll show you this here. So at this point, we only have one of these paragraphs because all we included was the Heading 1 paragraphs. If we included Heading 2s, Heading 3s, and so on, as many paragraphs as we included in this list, I'll show you this list here. If we included, Heading 2s and titles and other things, there would be one paragraph for each one of these that we included. So since we only included Heading 1, we're only going to see this Heading 1 TOC. Okay, so here's where we're talking about content. What's going to be included from those paragraphs? Well, we have these building blocks. So first of all, it's going to grab the paragraph text from the Heading 1 paragraphs. So whatever the text is, it's going to grab it. Then it's going to put in a literal space. And then it's going to put in the page number. It's going to use this building block to put in the page number. So this determines the content. And let's just illustrate that. Let's actually change the content. Let's just put in a series of literal characters here. And then we'll go back to the body page. And then we'll update this. We'll generate this. So it's this little button here in the book window. It's this little update button. And it's asking us what we want to do. We want to update the book, and we want to generate a new table of contents. And so what you can see is, what did we get? Well, we got the content of the paragraph, introduction. We got those literal X's that we put in there, and then we got the page number. So that's kind of how the content works. You go to these the reference pages, and then you determine it. Now, where that's going to help us is, let's say, for instance, we want to put a tab in here. Well, we need to put a tab character in here, or else we won't get it. So let's just put in a literal tab character. Now, we might not be able to see this, so we'll view text symbols. And you can see I've got a tab symbol. Now, I haven't set any tab stops, but don't forget, tab stops would be formatting. What we're looking at now is content. So let's go back to the body page. And let's update this. And so now we've got our paragraph text, our literal tab character, and we've got the page number. And so in the next video, we'll talk about formatting.